Here we are, HMW Sports Talk Live, segment number 3. I am Craig Shelton, here for you every Saturday from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. We talk sports on this show like no one else in town. Did not say we were the best. I just said we talk it like no one else in town. You might want to go check out the website. That's HoustonMediaWatch.com. I'm the founder of that website, but I work with a really good group of guys that do a whole lot of work to make the entire family of projects that we work on with HMW go, and none fewer than my man Richard Walker, who's working the cameras behind the cameras today. Of course, you see Richard on set with us quite often. My niece Alicia Stewart is here. She's been a part of the cast and crew from the very first TV show we did, The Cut, which still airs on the UTN network. Hey man, just check us out. We over there at HoustonMediaWatch.com. Go jump right back into this stuff with Johnny Manziel. I got my man John Harris in the studio from the SidelineView.com, and I'm not going to waste that. Angelo Lawford's in studio. Angelo Lawford is such a huge fan of John Harris that whenever he's in a room with him, he can't even talk. He just loses.
Hey, it's education.
He just loses it, you know. But no, it's always good to get you in, John, because your perspective is a unique one, because obviously, you know, the X and O knowledge of everything, but you also have what it takes to still have a kind of a fan's view and an understanding of that. And then, you know, it's kind of cool, some of the stuff we all talk about and share with each other off camera, and we try to find ways to get our message out with respect to sources and at the same time, you know, keep that integrity. So, in other words, what we're telling y'all, we know who the Texans go draft. We just can't tell you. I'll tell you what, we know who they not going to draft. Texans not going to draft Johnny Manziel. I don't believe, it's just like I tweeted out and put on Facebook. I just don't believe it. I think it would be irresponsible. I just think the moment is too big. And I just think Johnny Manziel requires too much. Well, Craig, everybody says Bortles is a project, and if they take Bortles, you're right. I agree. You know, Blake Bortles has some things that they're going to have to work on. So I'll say this: if the Texans draft a quarterback with that first overall pick, I would expect that pick to be Teddy Bridgewater or Blake Bortles. I just do not believe they would take Johnny Manziel. And let me be clear on this: if the Texans take Johnny Manziel, I'll be sitting right there in the press box. I'll be sitting there hoping that he breaks one, that he does something incredible. I'll feel just the way you feel. It's not about a bandwagon thing, but I'm supposed to give you my honest opinion. And based on what I've seen in football, what we've all seen with the law of averages, and you know, what works and what doesn't work, and with an inexact science like dealing with quarterbacks, there are too many of the inexacts playing on the wrong side of the hash line for Johnny Manziel, folks. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. You know, it's all about this hometown thing, but that is not the best direction. Now, here's a scenario that I talked about earlier in the week. John will give you an opportunity. We'll start with Angelo, and that may give him a chance to come out of this Beatles moment. And I put this out there this week, Angelo. I'll let you start and give your raw comment on it. My comment was something to the effect of, I can see a scenario where the Texans makes a move to acquire Ryan Mallett out of New England and end up drafting a quarterback probably in the third round. I don't even think they would go in the second round at that point. Third round, somebody, if Aaron Murray's still hanging around in the third round, if you know, things, and I know this is make Lance just completely probably want to take snacks out back and eat his kid, but they may even take a guy like a Logan Thomas who has all the measurables, who we know is completely
to play tight end.
To play tight end, yeah, right. Eventually, probably so. But I can see the Texans drafting Clowney, making a move to bring in Ryan Mallett, and taking a quarterback in the third round. I would think that if they took Clowney second round, I would think that the Texans would probably go and address a less sexier need perhaps defensive tackle, offensive line. You know, we all know what the Texans need. Now, here's my reasons for the Mallett scenario. Everyone has talked about the relationship or the history, being that Bill O'Brien has been in New England and worked with the kid. But there's another little caveat to this situation that people don't seem to understand. A couple things. Get Matt Sharp out of your head. Ryan Mallett is not Matt Sharp. You people that say Ryan Mallett is Matt Sharp are football ignorant. Because, or I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, you just don't really know who Ryan Mallett is as a football player. I will tell you this, as a senior in high school, Ryan Mallett had more arm than Matt Sharp will ever have in his life. One guy has a noodle, one guy has an absolute gun. They're not the same guy. 40 times may be the same. Lateral foot movement may be the same. And they just not, trust me, Ryan Mallett and Matt Sharp on many levels aren't the same guy. Now, well, Craig, he had the drug issues or whatever. The New England Patriots, John Harris and Angelo Lawford, have already done the Ryan Mallett character crash dummy test for the Texans. They've already done the focus group work for us. He stayed on a Belichick roster for 3 years. The work has already been done. Now, if you can't get him and weave him into your quilt, well, then that's on you. But he's shown that he can play in this league and be a part of an NFL locker room and keep himself together. You know what I mean? So that's why I think that scenario could come into play. I don't, and I'm not saying it is, but that's why I throw it out there, Angelo.
I'll be honest with you. Just sitting here talking about it now, just understanding what's all on the table, what's all possible, I have a headache. So I can only imagine.
What Bill O'Brien
right? What's going on in the Texans brain trust, and but I guess I will say that all the scenarios, who you don't take, who you do take, who's available at trade, and who just all your options, I think is where the value truly is in the number one pick, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Myself, I mean, as a fan. I mean, what I think is totally different from what the Texans as an organization think. I know that, so I don't. So I'm of the belief that they'll do whatever's best for the franchise, and as long as they do that, I'll be happy with that. Whoever they take, and so it's actually going to be pretty exciting to see what happens on draft day. What's going to happen up to that point to see what happens with all the variables, all just the different scenarios.
Dude, are you running for office or what?
No,
I mean that was just too easy. Really, Angelo?
No,
we are HMW,
yeah,
bro.
but you know what I mean? Like, it would be dishonest of me to say, like because one thing I will say about Mallett, something that I heard through a media pipeline was, like, no news about him is good news. So maybe he's not flopping as Tom Brady's backup right now. So the less you hear about him, the better off it is for him maybe going forward, is what I heard as far as his development. Because I don't know how he's developed really. There's not enough film for me to say that he's developed.
And the cool thing that the Texans have is if that is something they're actually interested in, they have a guy that knows a little bit about him, John.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bill coached him for the 2011 season and knows him for a year. And Josh McDaniels, who Bill worked closely with, has worked with him in the last couple of years. So they at least have that in-house, which is good. They at least have some working knowledge. I find it funny that Mallett, a lot of the issues that Mallett had off the field are some of the ones that Johnny Manziel seemingly has, just saying that there is that. But both of them, I think Mallett grew up and moved on, and I think Manziel will grow up and move on. But that said, Mallett was known to be a gym rat. He loves the film room. He loves playing ball. He's competitive. He does have a cannon. You're right. He's got a howitzer. But he's never started in the NFL. Yep. But that's
just like Manziel.
That's neither here nor there. But he's been in the league for 3 years.
What he was thought about as a prospect. Coming out a few years ago, it was all about character issues.
Yeah, he would have been a first rounder.
And the stuff about him leaving Michigan, hold up, folks. That office that he went to Michigan, when he got to Michigan, he could not play in that offensive scheme.
Yeah,
Breaking news, folks. Any offensive scheme that uses Denard Robinson at quarterback don't work for Ryan Mallett. You know what I mean? It's
if anybody
not
is
a good
pointing,
fit.
if anybody's pointing to that and saying that's an issue,
yeah,
he didn't go to he signed to go to Michigan before Rich Rodriguez was given the job. Then he gets there, or as what's his name was leaving,
right.
And then Rodriguez is coming in. You got a 6'6" quarterback with a howitzer. You're going to put him in Rich Rodriguez's offense? No, it didn't make sense.
No, of course not.
I don't have an
Can't
issue.
blame that kid.
I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
And Andrew's talking about no news is good news. I actually put that on Twitter and said, look, as far as character goes, we haven't heard anything. You haven't heard anything. So there's that kind of negative reassurance that there's nothing out there from that side of it. Now,
and everyone praises Belichick as the model. Okay, well, if that's the model and the kid has been able to survive on that team, understudy with Tom Brady, he's not Texans worthy? I mean, I just don't buy it.
Is he worth a shot? Sure.
I will say, like, you have Clowney on the table, yes, but I'm still of the belief as a fan that if you draft Clowney first, I think if he doesn't reach his ceiling, or more so if he flops, I think that the repercussions of him flopping versus even a Manziel, a Bridgewater, or a Bortles, or, I think the repercussions are more if you draft Clowney in that capacity. Because even you think about it, we drafted Carr. Carr wasn't a success. But there's no backlash. He was the obvious right pick because you needed a franchise quarterback. Mm-hmm. So I just think the repercussions are less if you take the chance on a quarterback, for better or for worse. Yeah. I just think it's a better option.
I think you're absolutely wrong, but I respect you so much. I have to give you a better definition, a clearer reason why I think you're wrong, and I think when I explain where I'm coming from with it, you may appreciate it. We're too close to break, so we'll get at that on the other side of it. I'm not shocked that Manziel, and it's not really about Johnny, it's just about that number one overall pick, and has dominated the show. And that's fine, no problem. As long as we're getting it in, and we're getting it in with some energy and some honest opinions and with a little heart in it, I'm good with that. Obviously, we could have jumped around on some other things. The Rockets are out there and playing some pretty good ball. 10 victories in their last 12 games since the Rockets lost those back-to-back games in January to Memphis. Taking care of business. You know what I'm saying? Not beating up on the greatest teams in ball, but over the next 10 games, they got some real tough competition coming up, including the Heat.
Twice.
A couple times, so that's going to be something to really get into and really see where this Rocket team is going. I'll tell you where they're going. They're going to the playoffs. They're not going to the finals, and they're not likely even going to the Western Conference Finals. But I think the Western Conference Finals would be the lightning in a bottle ceiling for the Rockets this year. That team is still too young, too disciplined, and you got too many bigs on that team, Terrence Jones and Monty Eunice, that forget defensive assignments and just go brain dead at times. So when we come back from the break, we'll rehash Angelo's comment, and I'll try to tell Angelo why I think he's probably wrong, and I'm pretty sure John will probably tell both of us we're wrong, and we'll move on from there. All right? Go check out the website, HoustonMediaWatch.com. We are HMW, Houston's media watchdogs. We got the whole crew in the house, all right? So y'all just hang in there. We're going to be rolling on back in. All right.